job. In your own words, what is visible felt leadership?
Visible felt leadership is a constant and consistent approach towards leadership. In health and safety terms, when people feel that there is a sincere commitment from the leader towards health and safety.
Why it is so important?
Well, it's very important because there's an old saying which is often true, what interests my boss fascinates me. And quite simply what that means is that people often replicate the behaviors of their boss. And if people can feel that a boss is really sincere and committed to health and safety, they will start to act in a similar way.
What are some examples of visible felt leadership that you have been seeing successful?
Well, I've seen many examples over the years, but to name just a few, I would say that when leaders go out into the operations and engage with workers to help them understand that safety really is our true priority, our number one priority. And also in terms of perhaps meetings, formal meetings, where health and safety is always the number one agenda item. And not just for cosmetic reasons, it's something that is very important to them, and they spend a great deal of time talking about the subject.
Do you have some examples of when leaders have unintentionally given the wrong impression about their health and safety commitment?
Well, sometimes this is done when they perhaps don't display visibly safe behaviours themselves. It could be not holding a handrail while walking upstairs, something as simple as that. Or maybe not wearing a seatbelt when in the back of a taxi or on a bus, when the seatbelt's there for them to use. And so this can display the wrong signals to people and get them to question whether safety truly is their priority.
What will be your key recommendations for the Ignite leaders and how they can put into practice visible felt leadership themselves?
Well, first of all, I would say make health and safety your personal and sincere priority. Make sure that you put the safety of people first in everything that you do. I would also recommend that you think carefully about how you communicate day to day about health and safety. Be aware of the things that you may say or may do that unintentionally could give people the wrong message and undo all of your good work about your commitment towards health and safety. And I would say take every opportunity that you can to recognize and praise good health and safety behavior. And of course, the flip side of that is that you must never walk past unsafe behavior. Always take the time to discuss with people the potential personal consequences of acting unsafely. And in actual fact, if you walk past an unsafe behavior and do nothing, it's like condoning the unsafe practice. So please always stop and take time to talk to people.
In your own words, what is visible felt leadership?
Visible felt leadership is a constant and consistent positive approach towards health and safety leadership.
Why it is so important?
Well, it's very important because people often replicate the behaviors of their bosses, their leaders, and therefore it's important to always portray the right image in terms of health and safety. Show people that you are sincere about your commitment to health and safety. Sorry, that's absolute nonsense. Cut, yeah, sorry. Yeah, cut, that was... Well, firstly, it's important because it's a way of improving health and safety, and therefore it's about the lives and integrity of people. That's our most important priority. And also it's important because there's an old saying which is very true. What interests my boss fascinates me. And quite simply, that means that people often replicate the behaviors of their bosses. So when they see that the leaders in the organization, i.e. their boss, is very committed to health and safety and is sincerely committed to health and safety, then they often start to behave in a similar way and buy into that same level of commitment and sincerity, and that eventually starts to affect others as this behavior permeates into our organization.
In your own words, what is visible felt leadership?
Well, visible felt leadership, sorry, can you...
Okay, no problem. Again?
Visible felt leadership is a constant and consistent approach towards leadership in health and safety. And I'd like to draw your attention to the middle words of those three, because it's all about what people feel, whether they feel that you are sincerely committed to the subject of health and safety and their well-being.
How did the Big H team come together, and what was the objective of their project?
Well, the Big H team came together as part of the Achieve program, and their main objective was to try and increase the profile of the H in H&S, because in the past it's perhaps been seen as a soft H with most of the priority focused on safety. And of course they wanted in doing that to try and create something that would be useful for our operations going forward, and that could not only be used occasionally but on an ongoing basis.
In your own words, how do you describe the Fit for Life campaign, and why do you think it's so important for CEMEX right now and moving forward? Reminder, tied to CEMEX Health Essentials.
Well, the Fit for Life campaign is very important because it's encouraging people to see a healthier way of living, so that they eat good food, get good nutrition, so they exercise, they look after themselves. And of course, this is not only good for them, it's good for their families as well.
How has Fit for Life been implemented at CEMEX, and what have been some of the outcomes?
Well, Fit for Life has been communicated very widely across CEMEX, and it's pleasing to see that our operations worldwide have embraced the spirit of this campaign. And there have been many examples of where the organization has come together and they've worked together in different ways to try and improve health and increase their levels of fitness.
What is your favorite story you have heard of an individual or a team putting in place Fit for Life practices?
Well, do you know, there are several examples of where people have come to me and said that it's really changed their outlook on life, and they've started to increase their exercise, to eat differently, and you can see that the person has maybe lost weight and just looks better in themselves. But I think some of the really good examples that I like most of all are where teams of people in the organizations have got together and maybe had a run or some kind of joint exercise together and made it fun as well. Many of those cases where they've involved their families too.
How have you implemented better health practices in your life, whether that be workplace or personal life, and what results have you seen?
Well, for me personally, I've exercised a lot more. I run regularly, maybe 4 times a week. I try and do 5K each time I go out for a run. And I'm very much more careful about what I eat now. And I think carefully about making sure I get the right amount of vegetables and fruit into my body and cut out on fatty foods and sugars as much as possible. And I feel much better for it. I feel great.
In your own words, how would you describe the Fit for Life campaign? Why do you think it's so important for CEMEX right now and moving forward?
Well, the Fit for Life campaign is a really good effort to increase awareness around all of our... Sorry, can I just keep on and do it again? Well, the Fit for Life campaign is an opportunity for everybody in CEMEX to be more aware about their health and their fitness. And that's why it's so important to us all, in fact, not just to us, but to our families as well. I think also it ties very nicely into 12 health essentials. And these, of course, are our essentials which we help to also raise awareness with people. The Fit for Life...
Okay, it's great. You started.
Sorry.
Should
Me?
I ask or not?
I'll just shoot, shall I?
Okay, shoot.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Well, the Fit for Life campaign is a great opportunity for all of us in CEMEX to increase our awareness in terms of health and fitness opportunities that we have. It's not only good for us, but it's good for our families. And it ties very nicely into our 12 health essentials that we have in CEMEX. All of this, I think, brings us some great opportunities to look after ourselves and look after each other in a different way going forwards.
How have you implemented better health practices in your life, whether that be workplace or personal life, and what results have you seen?
Well, for me personally, I run a lot more than I used to. So I get out and I exercise. I do 5 kilometers 4 mornings a week at least. And I'm very careful about what I eat now. I can't say I'm perfect, but I've increased my intake of vegetables and fruit. And I've cut down a lot on fatty foods and sugars, for sure.